Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuning into a very special Nintendo Direct edition of the Star Road Podcast featuring Sterling and Tyler. How are you doing, Tyler?
Man, I'm so excited. This Direct came out on the exact date of our 2-year podcast anniversary. How unbelievable is that?
Ain't that some shit?
Yep. And this is the first, obviously, recording since that date. We are recording early in the morning, which is outside of the norm for us. So I'm feeling some morning zoo vibes.
Yeah, this is the earliest we probably ever recorded. I'm sure I can... I'm telegraphing that, with my voice, but we're doing it. We're excited. I've been waiting for this, man. Really. The Nintendo Direct we got on the 13th, one of the best we've gotten in such a long time, Tyler. I mean, it's crazy.
It reminds me of like the couple Directs that we had early on, like the first one we ever covered, and then the one that had, so much stuff with Triangle Strategy and everything after that. Yep. And it gives me that same sense of like excitement just to have all this stuff laid out in front of us in one place. Stuff we knew about, stuff we didn't know about, a little bit of all on that.
This is just a lot of big ticket items. A lot of times we get these Directs, there's a big ticket item or two, one big end announcement. There's so many things on this Direct that could have been end announcements of Directs.
Yep.
So it's just so much to go through. We decided to dedicate a whole episode to it. So we're going to be doing basically full coverage. I mean, we've excluded a few things. They go through a lot of, montages with a lot of games, and we kind of just honed in on the things we found most important. I think we kept the majority of the Direct in. Would you say so?
Yeah. I cut maybe like 5 or 6 individual items at most, and it was all the lowest relevant stuff, like, some of the Japanese kind of farm sim, life simulation games. But of course, there is still a couple big boys in that category. So, and then stuff like the Disney kart racer, I felt like that was kind of a non-starter for both of us. But
still a good bit of shit that we wouldn't normally touch upon.
There is stuff that we will still cover in a brief manner, obviously, and just say, we don't know too much about it, but we're interested. But
totally.
But most of this is stuff that we're pretty engaged with.
Definitely, man. I don't think there's anything to do but to just do it.
Fire right in.
So I think we should just dive right in. The Direct fires up, dude, and we get Fire Emblem Engage. What are your first impressions on this, Tyler?
It's one of those that I'm not feeling like it's necessarily for me. I mean, tell me exactly what you know about the game, because it didn't immediately hit me what the game was about necessarily.
I'm not a Fire Emblem genius, but one thing, the art styles got me off top.
I do like
the colors,
art for sure.
The colors that are involved in the game, that it's very similar to Three Houses, and I think Three Houses is great. So this just looks like another expansion to the series, kind of like Three Houses. But I did find that the combat almost looked like older Fire Emblem in a way. Not the animations, but just the style of how you go about your actions.
So is this a main series Fire Emblem game?
That's what it seems like. With the title like Engage, I was like, I'm waiting for it's a mobile game
or something.
Exactly. But no. I mean, I think the title really is Engage. Martha's present in it. I thought that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. This seems really cool, honestly. I mean, I could see myself...
I want to know more about this game, I think.
Yeah, I could see myself jumping on it, though, just because my girl got Three Houses, and I played it but didn't own it. It'd be cool to maybe pick up Engage.
Yeah,
and,
Three Houses is on my backlog at the moment, unfortunately.
You have that, don't
I
you?
own it digitally, yeah. I bought it on
shit,
I think
that's right.
it was like a Christmas sale we talked about on here, and I was like, I got to pick
Man,
that up.
It's a lot like Triangle Strategy in the way that there's variety in what you do. Like it's calendared out. So this day exploration mode, this day, a battle. It's almost spread out that same way. But
That's kind of cool though.
With less story in between all of it. The story only happening at intervals,
And it happens kind of as you go, as opposed to Triangle Strategy. By the way, like, we are going to have a big Triangle Strategy talk next podcast. I think I just want to get it out of the way to say that.
Might as well.
We'll tease it maybe more at the end, but
yeah.
Sterling is very close to completing the story. I'm kind of close to completing my third playthrough, so between us, we're going to have plenty to talk about.
That's a big definite. We're going to talk about that later on. But Fire Emblem Engage, man, I'm sure the fans are rejoicing because this looks great.
Yeah, I want to know more. I want to know if its main series, like what the collection of characters they're bringing together actually is. Like, it looks like it might end up being a mix of old and new characters and stuff like that, which is definitely kind of cool. So interested to learn a little more. Definitely want to do a little more research on it.
Definitely. One cool thing they did mention is that they're going to be coming out with a Divine Edition. That's what they're calling it. It's going to come with, collectible items. It had a spreadsheet of them. Your typical items, art book, things like that. If I was a bigger Fire Emblem fan, maybe I'd try to get it, but I know how unobtainable these special editions through Nintendo are. So good luck getting this,
Yeah, we'll see.
But that's set to launch January 20th, 2023.
Right around the corner.
A lot of these games on this Direct, not super far away. That's what's crazy.
Man, yeah, even the furthest ones, I found myself being like, that's really not that far away. Some of the stuff we'll talk about at the end.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Intelligent Systems is involved with the making of this game. Also Paper Mario. Just something to think about.
Interesting.
Next up on the Direct, It Takes Two. This is a game that's gotten a lot of praise. I actually am not familiar with it at all. I've seen a little bit of it played.
The gameplay looks fun from what I've seen.
Oh, yeah. As far as the co-op experience goes, I could see why this blew up.
And I almost want to say that they are making a movie about it, or there is a movie.
Oh.
Something exists with this in a movie, because when I was doing a little research, that came up consistently. So definitely interesting there, but it looks like a fun game for sure, and excited to see it coming to Switch.
Yeah, this seems like something that's right at home on the Switch.
Yeah, and if it has an engaging 2-player co-op, then I don't know if we got a price point on it, probably not. But if it is for the right price, I think I can see us getting into something like this.
Totally, man. Especially, I would assume that they allow online multiplayer, because I think that's part of this game.
Or even both of us with our respective partners. That also works.
Yeah. Definitely, man. This is cool to be coming to the Switch for sure. And that's the cool thing about these games that weren't on the Switch before, have been on other consoles. Sometimes it's cool just to have them make the transition, even if they're not a brand new game.
And that's a lot of the games that we're going to talk about today. Or a good portion of them are things that are coming to Switch for the first time but have existed.
Totally. A lot of the shit is Switch exclusive, the new stuff, though. But next up, we've got a Fatal Frame game. And this is a series that I've always been very aware of, but haven't gotten a lot of time with. A lot of mystique around it, kind of like Silent Hill, But this one's called Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Apparently, it must have come out in Japan already.
Yeah.
Because they're saying it's going to be coming out in the West early 2023 on the Switch.
This has my interest, because this is a franchise that I feel like we've always both heard about, but I've never personally really played. So I'm excited to give this a try. I would love to see if they have a demo or something.
A demo would be nice. They should do demos for more things, man. I'm telling you. demos have sold me on things. I'm telling you, the first thing I think about is that Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity
That was a good demo for sure.
Oh man, had to continue it, had to keep it going. But yeah, man, early 2023. A lot of these games are going to be early 2023, and some late in the year.
Yep.
One of those things being the next wave of the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion pass, which we already knew we were getting a new hero. You know, they kind of let us know ahead of time that it was going to be a new hero with challenge battles, that type of thing. But they revealed what the challenge battles were going to be. It's basically consecutive battles against tough enemies, you know. So that, to me, that's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of times you do one battle and then it's over, or you have a couple boss fights chain, but to chain battles together and have them be amped up in difficulty, that sounds interesting to me. But you do a quest, go through a quest line, unlock her. Apparently she's just part of your party, like a regular character in the story. It's kind of strange because all of them have a dynamic in the story. So you kind of wonder if this character is just going to be present but not
integrated.
Involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it'll be cool. It'll be weird to see how they include these, because we know we're getting another one with the next wave.
Absolutely.
But that's going to be October 13th. That wave 2 is going to
right around
come
the corner.
through. Definitely. What's cool is that included in the rewards, they mentioned not just accessories, but outfits. The fact that you can unlock outfits as rewards for battles. That's not something that's normal in Xenoblade. You don't just get these droppable cosmetics, you know. So that's pretty interesting. It'd be cool to see what happens.
It's the
with
new
that.
age we live in, man. Cosmetics everywhere.
Yeah. You're right, though, man. Yeah, any type of paid content as well, it's going to happen. Speaking of cosmetic, my boy SpongeBob is cosmetically looking
pretty fresh.
Better than ever. Better than ever. And the Cosmic Shake on the Nintendo Switch. This just looks like another good SpongeBob 3D platformer.
A lot of people love these SpongeBob games. I never owned them as a kid. I feel like it's just a difference of, did you have like Battle for Bikini Bottom when you were a kid or not? And I did not. So I never had these stick to me like some people did, but I have watched a lot of speed runs for these SpongeBob games and stuff. So I'm familiar with them. And I think to see a new one come out is going to be pretty exciting for a lot of people.
Yeah, I've seen some content of people breaking the game, speed running it and stuff. Battle for Bikini Bottom, and I actually played it when it was like hot and new, but I didn't own it. It was just something that a
Someone
friend had or something. Yeah. And I remember being pretty blown away at the time, being like, "Man, this is actually a pretty fun, playable SpongeBob game."
Yeah, so this looks like it's going to be right in line with that style.
Yeah, not one to quickly jump on a new SpongeBob game, but definitely cool to see SpongeBob still pushing.
For sure.
The next one on here, I gotta say, whenever you made the cuts from everything I sent you, I was surprised you kept this on, Tyler. I gotta say.
I did it for one reason. Fist of the North Star. Oh, sorry. Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star coming out in March 2023. The reason I included this is because I'm actually a big fan of the original FMV, like the original anime movie for this franchise, which includes, the meme of you were already dead and stuff like that. But I not to be like I was on it before it was cool, but my buddy showed me this when we were in high school, and he was on this like early, and I think it was hilarious when this was just not what I was expecting to see on the direct, a Fist of the North Star fitness game. I won't be picking this one up, but I thought it was noteworthy just because it's so kind of ridiculous, but it is in line.
You won't be picking this up?
No, I don't think so, man.
Okay.
I'm not much of a fitness boxing game in general. If I was going to do that, I'd probably pick up Ring Fit. I
agree.
And
that's a strong choice.
Yeah.
That's a strong choice. Yeah.
So probably not in the cards for me, but I do love Fist of the North Star, and it was very funny to see this trailer. This is very Japan to come out with this, like, really, really, really tickled my funny bone there.
I wish it was as magical for me as it was for you.
Yeah, I just I love Fist of the North Star. It's like, it's a really great original anime movie. Like, it was over the top, it was violent, and sort of like just really, really heavy content, subject matter, which when I saw this originally, I had not been exposed to a ton of anime that was like that, so it really kind of it tickled my fancy. And then later on, that same friend and I, we actually, my previous podcast, Unformatted Review Show, shout out, we covered this movie and did a review on it. So, I love it for that reason as well.
Well, like I said, I'm glad you got something out of it, man, because like I said, it did nothing for me.
I understand. One day I'll send you a link to the Fist of the North Star movie on YouTube. I'm sure it's still on there. You can watch it whenever you have some downtime. It's very entertaining.
Yeah, the thought of if it picks up the punch as well, I kind of thought, hey, that might be cool to throw some punches with this ridiculous shit on the screen, these outdated 3D graphics. It seems kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, just a soft sell for me, but probably, definitely not going to be getting it.
Yeah, but shout out to the Fist of the North Star love anyway.
Shout out to Oddballers that you cut from the program.
I did.
I thought it looked like a fun little dodgeball / mini game. It reminded me of Overcooked.
I was too excited to talk about the next one.
I am really excited to talk about the next one. This is one of those little sleeper announcements they do. That's kind of like more on the indie vibe, but that really catches your attention. Something like a tome, that something that catches your attention like that. And that's Tunic. I think I thought the first thing you thought when I first saw this, and that's Link's Awakening on the Switch.
And I mean, the name Tunic is it's no coincidence, right?
And also the concept art that kind of looks like a booklet for a game, like a manual, kind of like in that old school Zelda manual style. Totally intentional, totally throwback to Zelda. But the game is not hiding its inspiration in any way.
When we see these indie games that are throwbacks to old favorites, they're often pretty good. You think about a franchise like Bloodstained, where they took that concept, and obviously that's a little different because it's the original creator, right, of the Castlevania games.
Koji Igarashi, shout out to that man.
But be that as it may, you love to see these little homages in indie games and sort of running with an old concept in a new way.
Oh, well, look, inspiration reaches where it does, and technology is expanding.
Absolutely.
So if somebody who's really inspired by Link's Awakening, or even specifically the Switch remake, I could see that art style is very unique.
Absolutely.
Everybody had something different to say about it when it came out. It looks like plastic toys.
It does, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a Lego game, right? Like when you just think about the shine softer, that everything has.
But it's clay enough to where I don't think it's a Lego game.
I mean that in a favorable way. I think the Lego games, like them or hate them, they look awesome most of the time. And Link's Awakening obviously has more going on in terms of 3D than that.
Yeah. But this is definitely looking like... I actually looked on the eShop because I was curious. It is listed at $29.99.
Nice. And I think it's coming on Steam as well, because this screenshot was from Steam, so that's pretty exciting.
And also September 27th in 3 days.
3 days from now, so I'm going to be watching for that one to go on sale probably. I don't think I'm going to pick it up for $30, but if it, these indies, after a while, they start to go on sale pretty regularly. So
yeah,
once I see it down to 20, I think that's going to be an instant, an instant shot for me. And we'll see if it gets a physical, one of these limited run physical releases. That is something that I could definitely see.
I could see myself being a big fan of this game from what they've shown. I love the art style. I love everything about it. I feel like I'm going to put the same faith in it I put in Link's Awakening. And
I'm teasing out the... You go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it.
I was just going to say I'm teasing out the physical thing because I know that's something you'd be interested in. Like these, Golf Story and some of these other physicals that you've gotten with a limited sort of physical release. I think this could be in line for that.
Oh, yeah, totally, man. I wish they'd make them sooner. That way you can get them on launch physical.
Might be an argument for getting it on the Steam Deck.
Maybe so. The Steam Deck kind of creates a gray area with physical for me because I am willing... Now, this is non-Nintendo stuff. Keep in mind,
but like it's all part and parcel of our podcast too.
Yeah, but I feel like having it accessible on the Steam Deck and PC interchangeably is almost as good as having it physical. Just because of where we are.
Never thought I'd hear you say that.
Well, what I mean is that the Steam Deck was a bit of an eye-opener. And when I thought about it last episode, you kind of put me on the spot and was like, oh, what do you want to get RE4 Remake on? I'm like, oh, Steam Deck. But you're like, but you want it physical. And you kind of tripped me up. I kind of actually didn't think about the fact that I really wanted it physical.
But that was in mind with, it coming to a console that you play regularly as a physical.
Yeah, so like I said, I could get it for the Xbox and I'd have a physical copy. But I'd have to diverge from my normal setup to play one game. And that just doesn't make sense to me if I could just get it on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I agree.
So that creates an interesting spot for me. But see, something like Tactics Ogre Reborn, we talked about, that's something you got to get physical.
I already pre-ordered that physical. I told you that the other day.
No doubt. That's an instant pre-order.
I've been too ingrained in triangle strategy and everything that I've seen online from people in the know.
Same. I'm consumed by the game as well. I know you're further down the hole, but
it does it though. I mean, it took you a while. I feel like once you get to about the halfway point of the story, you're just insta hooked. So I feel like you, since you've gotten to that point, have been in the same place as me. Like, I just think about the game all the time. So in that, like, I have been, going on Reddit. There's not a huge following for the game, but it is more than I talked about. And a lot of people that are in the know that are fans of triangle strategy are saying Tactics Ogre Reborn is going to be something you're going to want to get. And so for that reason, I'm very excited about it.
I was already sold, so that just is a bit more confirmation.
But even so far as apparently the original Tactics Ogre game was called Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together. And there is a line in Triangle Strategy where Sarah Noah says, "Let us cling together," as like a shout out to Tactics Ogre.
That is absolutely fantastic.
So pretty excited, Triangle Strategy. Once I reach the end of my current playthrough, I don't know if I'm going to start up another one. I will technically have one more character to get, but we'll see, because it's also coming out on Steam, and we're also getting Tactics Ogre, so that's going to be pretty exciting.
To me, Triangle Strategy is like the new age Super Mario RPG as far as what aesthetically pleases me.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Because it touches me in all the ways that
you want to be touched.
A game like that, yeah, a game like that would touch me now. But shout out to Tunic.
Yeah.
The next games we're going to talk about are actually very similar to Triangle Strategy, and that's these Front Mission remakes. I've never played any game from the series.
Me neither. But when I see so this is a turn-based mech fighter.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Armored Core meets Fire Emblem.
That was so I was like, I saw mechs and I'm like, oh, Armored Core, but then I'm seeing turn-based, and then suddenly you have my attention even more.
Oh man, we talk about old school PlayStation 1 Armored Core. That is
Yep.
my shit.
Yeah, I never had the series until Armored Core 3 or 4 for the PS3. That was my introduction. I knew about them from like watching X-Play and stuff, so I always had an interest, but I owned Armored Core 3 on the PS3. I think it was like an early title on the PS3.
Yeah, Armored Core makes me think of Twisted Metal, and I'm going to bring this up to you. I skipped on my Boomer Shooter news. I'm going to have some serious Boomer Shooter news on the next episode.
We have a lot of news on the next episode because we're waylaying any other non-direct news.
Yep, the direct all about today. But one thing I wanted to mention to you, New Blood kind of teased that they're working on a car combat game inspired by Twisted Metal.
That's fun.
So think about these like shooters we get that are throwing it back. Imagine getting a game like that these days from a reputable source that's throwing it back to Twisted Metal. That could be something we're big fans of.
Yeah,
potentially.
Absolutely. Introduce like a multiplayer aspect to it, a little bit more open-ended. I think you're gonna
some actual drop in the game together and start deathmatching.
Yeah, that would be sick.
But the sequel, the second of these Front Mission remakes, apparently was only released in Japan.
Yep.
So this is the first time it's going to be seeing a release in the West. So the first is going to be this November. The second one is going to be in 2023. And
then they're coming out with a third one as well.
And they confirmed the third one. So this is the big confirmation. I feel bad that I'm unfamiliar with the series because I'm sure big fans of this series are probably popping off that they confirmed the third one.
For sure. When you see stuff like the second one was Japan only, it may just never have been popular stateside in the first place.
Oh, man, we're seeing Live Alive and Tactics Ogre and these things with these first-time releases. Love it, dude. And I love the West getting all of it.
I saw a lot of people online in these same threads about Tactics Ogre saying that Live Alive was something worth getting into as well, and I have not done so yet.
It really is. I promise you. Whenever you find yourself, even if Christmas comes around, man, you haven't.
That's a good shout.
Live Alive for Christmas. Take my word for it, dude. You would love it.
That's a good shout for sure. There's going to be a few physical things that I'm asking for Christmas, but that's the type of thing that I would definitely be.
Oh, yeah. Just because I could recommend Xenoblade 3 or something like that, but I just see you diving into Live Alive much quicker.
Definitely.
I know what you're into and shit these days.
In Xenoblade, I would want to start from the beginning.
Yeah, totally. You wouldn't want to dive in with 3. So I thought it was interesting you left Story of Seasons on here.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they're coming out with a new one. I'm sure they've come out with many of these. I've seen quite a few on the eShop.
Yeah.
But this one's called A Wonderful Life, coming summer 2023.
I think the thing that kept me interested in this was the fact that they talked about a character progression system.
The aging thing.
Mm-hmm. And the aging thing. Absolutely. It's almost like Farm Sim meets like The Sims. In some ways. And I thought that was kind of cool. I don't think I'll be picking it up, but the art looks really nice, and it's the type of game that I could see, for instance, like my wife, enjoying or something like that.
Yeah, I actually like the fact that the graphics remind me kind of like of some polished DS era graphics.
For sure. And I want to say maybe this is a DS franchise, like maybe it started off in that world.
Yeah, I've seen games from the franchise over so many consoles at this point. I don't know how far it goes back.
Yeah,
but I mean, it looks like a good enough game. The aging thing is definitely interesting. Mm-hmm. That's not something that happens in Stardew, but unfortunately, except for things like Harvestella, which we're going to talk about.
I have some. I have some questions for you on that game when we get there.
It's hard to sway me when it comes to farming games. I'm just like, Stardew's all you need.
Yeah, and
Harvest Moon. I mean, any Harvest Moon game of olden days, not the new ones.
Knowing too that we're going to be into Harvestella before too long.
Yep. Also, whatever happened to the Haunted Chocolatier, the game being made by Concerned Ape, the developer of Stardew?
I don't know.
We got that trailer and a teaser. I can't wait to hear about that. That's going to be
It
huge for
wasn't
me.
that long ago, so it could just be still in development.
I'm sure it is. I think he's dropped some music too.
It's
like
one
some
guy,
little teaser stuff.
you know, it takes a little while.
I'll wait as long as it takes, man. I'm going to be a number one fan of that game when it comes out. But yeah, man. Continuing with this, a little bit of news on Splatoon. Something that, admittedly, we don't really partake in.
No, unfortunately.
But apparently the first Splatfest is happening. We might be a little late in even talking about the times because it's over tomorrow.
Oh, no, it is over.
Yeah.
Or it's over tomorrow. Nice.
But one thing that is helpful for anybody who plays, they announced that there are going to be more free updates planned for Splatoon 3.
And every time they come out with Splatoon news, I'm always feeling like I'm missing out because I love the art style. I love the music and the sort of... I like everything about the game, but we've just never gotten into it. Like, I feel like maybe we are missing out big time on this, but the backlog is just too heavy to have 3 entirely new Switch games to get into as well.
Maybe it's a lot easier to get into Splatoon when you don't work. I don't know.
Well, I think that would be the case for most games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. You can make that argument for anything, but I don't know why we never jumped on it. It's a...
I played the demo for 2 and 3 when they came out, and I enjoyed both.
Yeah. I thought they were pretty fun, too. I just never really finally did it, you know?
Yeah.
Finally purchased it and dove in.
Maybe someday. Maybe whenever the series goes on sale for a bunch of discount, which has never really happened. I feel like even the early iterations don't go on sale for very drastic, so...
Yeah. The next thing they announced on the Direct, Tyler, is what Nintendo Directs are made of. I made a comment earlier that this was my number one announcement of the Direct, and you agreed. And they dropped it right on our face.
Yep, no warning.
Octopath Traveler 2.
Feels good. This is relevant for so many reasons, man.
It feels so good, man. I feel like I get on here and, you know, it's not reaching the ears of Nintendo executives or anything. But I'm like, keep that 2D HD shit coming. And they just keep it coming. Like they're listening, you know.
Absolutely.
They just hit us in the face. I mean, I was saying that before Triangle Strategy. And then they give us that. They give us Live Alive.
Yep.
They give
and
us
now this.
Octopath 2.
Yep.
And then one of the first things I sent you, I don't want to get off the rails because this game deserves to be talked about. But man, that really puts, we just got this game this year, but that really puts Triangle Strategy on course to get a sequel at some point.
Yep. And we'll talk about it more next episode because we're going to have a whole Triangle Strategy thing. But last episode, we talked about, wouldn't it be great if Triangle Strategy came to Steam? And what do you know? The very next day, we see that it was announced for Steam.
Yep.
And
I was browsing the Steam shop, and I informed my boy Tyler that at the time it said in 4 weeks this title will be available.
Yep, October 13th.
And it's got an introductory offer. I think you can get in. That
should have been. We could have put that on the 3 shop for sure.
Yeah, you could hit the ground running at like $53, dude.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm going to buy the game right away because that's a lot of money to drop on a game that I already play on Switch.
Totally.
But it's tempting. It's tempting.
The radar is going to be ticking for a while until it happens.
Yeah,
you know that.
As soon as I start seeing workshop content, it's going to be really hard to keep my finger off that purchase button.
The workshop content thing, if we see where that goes, because you could always follow the game and get the feed for it and see what's happening, which I will also.
It's on my wish list. I saw you did too.
Oh, yeah. It's funny wish listing a game you own, but that's what Steam is, right?
Yep. But
the moment we see what the workshop's doing, and it's just going to take one update from the developer, just one Square Enix post about something with workshop or something with something, and I know it's going to make it happen, dude.
Yeah.
You know it.
But we'll talk about that more next episode. Octopath 2.
Octopath Traveler 2, 8 brand new characters.
A lot of stuff that feels right in line with the first game and with Triangle Strategy in terms of character design and voice acting and everything.
100%. Tech still looks the same. Everything is just a touch more dynamic as far as the environments.
A touch more crisp, like graphically. Not that the first game was bad, but just looking at this screenshot on the screen right now, it's a feast for the eyes. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous.
It's like the perfect balance of Triangle Strategy and Octopath. Best way to put it.
Yep. And they got
with Triangle Strategy, they really started on a whole new path with this HD 2D shit.
Yep, and it got ratcheted with Live Alive and this, and I think Tactics Ogre is going to be somewhat in that engine as well.
Yeah, quite similar.
Yeah, so pretty excited, man. These games have captivated us and like really, really kind of just brought, for me at least, like, you know, I always have been on RPGs for a while, but never with the intensity that I've played Triangle Strategy recently. Like, you know, and it's been a while since I've had that. So these have put me in that whole other mindset of just nothing but RPGs.
Shout out to Square Enix, dude. They've done so much for us in the past years in all ways.
Yep.
But Octopath 2, man, I mean, you absolutely love to see it.
Yep.
They mentioned one big difference with this one is actually actions differ, like path actions between day and night.
Yep. I thought that was cool.
That is cool.
It gives replay value to the people like us who want to see what every path looks like.
Yep. And it just adds another element of randomness and replayability.
Yep.
But it's crazy, man. This was such a big announcement for me because when I first got the Switch, I feel like that was my like big game on the radar.
Absolutely.
Octopath Traveler was exclusive to Switch. I had seen so much about it. It was like one of those games in my mind that I had always thought about but didn't have a Switch. So I think that was like the first Christmas present from my girl, like right when I got it, was Octopath. This is going to be coming out February 24th, 2023.
Right after my birthday.
Look at that. This is an absolute pre-order along with Tactics Ogre Reborn. I mean, this is a guaranteed pre-order.
Yep.
No question about it. It's happening. Long live Square Enix.
Give us more of this.
I thought it was interesting also that you kept this theater rhythm game in the program.
Just for the Final Fantasy value, right? Like, you know, if they're talking about Final Fantasy, they're gonna have my attention. This isn't something that I personally have an interest in, but I thought it was notable. You know, I think it is a franchise that people enjoy having sort of a rhythm game around these like Final Fantasy and Square Enix universe stuff. But to me, it's not something that I have an interest in purchasing.
But it is interesting that they mention the inclusion of some branched out Square Enix titles.
Yeah, Live Alive and Octopath.
Yep, and Saga even.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, to include some of the newer, even Live Alive, that was like the coolest thing to see. Oh, Octopath, Live Alive, shit as new as that. And you kind of watch the battles and scenarios play out in the background. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play a rhythm game, this is some of the coolest background you could have to it, probably.
Totally. Makes me wonder where the Triangle Strategy, like, battle unit placement music is. That like, that stuff just stays with me all the time.
Dude, same.
I feel like that's like the music that is compelling me to live my life.
Certain pieces of music in Triangle Strategy. You also, every now and then you come across a certain piece of music and you're like, man, it's going to be so hard to reference, but this particular piece of music is exquisite.
Yep. But
you can say that about
good to see Theater Rhythm. Good to see, you know, Square. I mean, really, just this whole episode is almost like a Square Enix Direct. Like, there's a lot of Square Enix things in this, and because the developer has been on our minds so much, it almost feels like that's the main theme of this episode.
They've got a very good relation with Nintendo and with us.
And it's only been improving recently. I remember when we saw Triangle Strategy announced, we were like, hey, it's good to see them kind of getting on good terms with each other and doing some more things. That feels like a lifetime ago, because it almost seems like they're like Nintendo is the preferred partner for Square Enix for most things. So that's what we like to see a lot.
We're like basically a direct away from Super Mario RPG on the Switch Online and a sequel to it in development.
God, imagine if they do RPG and they give it the treatment that they've given some of these games. I'm not even talking about graphically, but
some of the shit that we received in this direct that we're going to talk about shortly makes me think things like that could totally happen and totally will.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I think the next one is...
But how about this Mario and Rabbids game that we've mentioned before, Tyler?
You know, when they showed gameplay from it on this direct...
Sparks of Hope, by the way, is the title.
I honestly, like, just maybe it's just the craving that I have for a new Odyssey or something, but when I see Mario walking around, picking up coins, interacting with the level... This wasn't a game that I had any plan on purchasing, and I probably still won't, but man, you really have my attention when you start showing stuff like that.
Free roam exploration, man. I mean, look, for all we know, they could have been taking some pages from Bowser's Fury to work on something like Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Mm-hmm.
There could be a lot of similarities there that you might not have imagined, because you might think, oh, it's going towards a main series Mario.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have to be one or the other, but it definitely had my interest, but I think this is still going to be a miss for me for now.
It's something that eventually will go on sale for a very reasonable price, and I could see easily picking it up, especially with the free roam and everything like that, man.
Yeah, if this game starts going on sale for $14.99 like the last one eventually, then that's going to be a pretty tough one to pass up, because this game looks like it has a lot more than the first one.
Yeah, definitely, and I have the first one, and even without the free roam, it's pretty fun. Like the tactical side of
tower
the game,
defense kind of gameplay.
I think it's pretty fun. This that we're about to get into is some of the biggest news of the Direct. This is some climax Star Road alert territory. Yep. This is the type of shit that we absolutely live for and why we get on here. So they kind of just laid a shit ton of N64 games on us.
They did. A lot of big ones.
Without much warning at all. I guess we should just break it down by year, because, look, we don't want to get too excited and think we're going to be getting these games next week. But I'm glad you chose the image that you chose, because I had them separated that way as well. But we're in 2022 this year, no confirmed date. Pilot Wing 64, Mario Party, and Mario Party 2.
Yeah, I'm excited to have the OG Mario Parties, man. Those are going to be perfect.
I love the graphics on those, man. They're so fun, and the graphics are so primitive. The renders are Smash 64 wonky.
Yep, absolutely.
And I live for that. We just live for it, man. So next year, Mario Party 3, Pokemon Stadium.
1 and 2.
We're gonna talk about these when we get done listing them, Tyler. Pokemon Stadium 2, 1080 Snowboarding, Excitebike 64.
Quickly, 1080 Snowboarding and Excitebike, those are actually both games that I am looking forward to being able to play. we talked about Mario Party 3 is going to be in the same boat as 1 and 2 for me. Like, I'm going to be playing all of those. But the Pokemon Stadium games,
that is a whole different level.
It's a different can of worms. We've talked a lot about the leak of the Game Boy online, you know, and possible integration. This isn't related to any of that yet, but it is potentially laying the groundwork.
We're going to have to see, man. These are features that are in the game. We're going to have to see how they're interacted with.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, that'd be nice if they were like, oh, if you on the account on your 3DS, you own a Pokemon Game Boy game, then you'd be able to access them from the tower.
That would be cool. I don't see that, but I do see it.
Yeah,
if they do come out with the Game Boy Online, you know, eventually I could see that integration.
Yeah.
But just at the base level, having these games with just rental Pokemon, I mean, that's exciting.
Love Excite Bike on NES. The 64 one, never played it. Looks awesome.
I want to say this is our first, like, I know Stadium's not main series, but this is our first somewhat close to a main series or a high profile Pokemon game we've gotten on any Switch Online. So it was something where
except Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap, yeah, that's up there as well. But other than that, like the absence of some Pokemon games has been notable, right? So to see them adding the franchise in and, you know, giving love to it, that is very exciting for us.
No question. Nothing is more exciting for us than the next thing they announced.
Yeah, I could see my man cheesing when they came out with this.
They said, and we have one more game. And as soon as I heard the heartbeat, the music, just the start, I knew it was 007 GoldenEye. One of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah,
we've been speculating coming to this ever or at all. And it's coming soon with online play.
Yep. And I imagine the online play will work similar to how we played, you know, Mario Kart and Star Fox.
And this is Octopath Traveler 2 levels of excitement for me.
I know.
Maybe even further.
Well, you have actually even speedran this game before.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to be doing so probably on the Switch as well.
I figured.
Be nice to do it with the controller, but they're never available.
I'm to the point where I'm probably, next time I get this itch, I'm probably going to buy a third-party N64 controller for use with the Switch Online.
I'm with you on that.
I'm pretty much given up on getting a Nintendo official one, unfortunately.
Yeah. Maybe there's an adapter or something we don't know about.
Even, an adapter or just, you know, there's going to be third-party controllers at this point that, you know, whether it's 8-bit do or something else that is going to be comparable.
Can't go wrong with 8-bit do, yep. But GoldenEye on Switch, Tyler, I think you might be shocked at how much I play this because a lot of these games come out and we get so hype on them and then I don't really dump much time into them. This is a different story. You know, I could always just emulate this on the Steam Deck, but to have this on an official Nintendo service...
It's its own thing, and having
that's
multiplayer...
special to us.
Yeah.
That is so special to us.
Yep.
So this is a big deal. Also, this was the one thing on the Direct that was ruined for me upon waking. Because I was just about to dive into it. My little brother had to send it to me.
But
because I mean, my little brothers know GoldenEye. I mean, whenever they were just getting their footing with gaming, I was like, y'all need to be playing GoldenEye.
Absolutely.
So that's what both of them started out with, and it stuck with them.
That's special if that's the one thing that got spoiled, though. You can't even be mad about that.
Nah, and I would rather him spoil it. But he was like, man, when I saw there was announcing it or whatever, he's like, I was thinking about you. You know, I knew you would freak out. And I was like, you know me well. Because, yeah, this is exactly the type of shit they could drop to make me freak out. So, can't wait for GoldenEye to happen, man. We're going to have to get on there. Deathmatch.
Odd Job Band, of course.
The jokes have been made so many times before. So, now you get to live them.
Yep.
So, the next one that you kept on here, Tyler, Various Day Life.
Yeah, I wanted to get your interest level on this game because it is a Square Enix release that is in the, it's almost like the other side of the coin from Harvestella, where it's your life sim, but there's not as much of an RPG battling element. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
This is one, obviously, I think it looks like a good game. But it is on the lower end of the Square Enix magnets of my attention.
For sure. And this is the other half of the bundle on Steam as well, right?
I'm not sure what bundle.
So Triangle Strategy, they came out with like a bundle that's this game and Triangle Strategy both on sale for, 10% off or whatever.
Oh, okay. No shit.
Yeah.
I think this is not a $60 game either. I think it's like a $50 title.
Yeah.
Maybe even cheaper. I think I might have saw it for a surprisingly low price, like 30 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty much with you. I love to see Square Enix, doing it. And the fact that it was bundled with Triangle Strategy put it on my radar. But
yeah.
But I probably won't be picking this one up.
I want to support anything that's got that Bravely Default Triangle Strategy Octopath font from Square Enix.
Absolutely.
I want to support it.
Yeah.
But this is just, like I said, as far as the games they've come out with and the immediate attention, this one didn't grab me like the others.
I agree.
With Triangle Strategy, as soon as we got the first glimpse, you can go back and see as soon as it was announced. You and I were saying, this is going to be the best game ever. This is going to be the best game ever. We spent like a year or more talking about when are we getting Triangle Strategy, every other week talking about this shit. And it wound up being the greatest shit ever. So you see what I mean by that immediate
for sure
star power, you know?
Absolutely.
But definitely, look, the more they pump out, the more there is for everybody. I mean, this might be more in line for somebody, more their style. Triangle Strategy probably could be a little brutal for somebody who was looking for a laid back experience,
Definitely.
But the next one, I actually knew you were going to keep on because this game looks really cool. And that's Factorio.
Yeah, I actually have a lot of friends online that play this game, and I can see why. Like, it almost combines like an RTS with like programming or something like that, and I think that's really, really interesting. But yeah, it looks like a cool game. I probably would pick it up on Steam before I would on Switch, but good to see it coming to Switch for sure.
Definitely. This is definitely something I want to play on Steam Deck if it was, if it had nice control layout and everything. Mm-hmm. This is a really cool one. It reminded me of, little Age of Empires vibes, a little bit of
SimCity almost.
SimCity vibes, yeah, totally.
But it has an automation aspect that's almost like Minecraft, like, some of the automation stuff you can build in there. So,
yeah, this is definitely one to look out for, I think. This is one of those smaller ones they talked about that I think is going to wind up being a very good game.
And I know it's beloved by people who play PC games for sure.
Yeah, I haven't picked up on it yet, man, but the Switch is definitely a place for it. The next one, Ib. You were expressing some interest in this, and it does look rather interesting.
It's like a 2D survival horror exploration game. And that is, or it's not even really survival horror. It's really just horror. Like, I think that has piqued my interest just based on genre alone. But the graphics and the art style of the game, like, really have piqued my interest. This is something I also feel like I could see myself picking up on Steam. Primarily, but again, good to see it coming to Switch.
Kind of Undertale-y in a way.
A little bit, yeah. Undertale mixed with, some of your more, just an explore, like a 2D kind of exploration game that has horror elements. I'm into that.
Totally. By the way, apologies if we miss any release dates. We get excited with this shit. But Factorio is October 28th.
Nice, yeah.
Now, IB is spring 2023. A lot of these release dates are really vague. I'm going to be honest with you. You either get a year or you get the season of a year. Yeah. Anything with a solid date, most of it is close to now.
For the most part, yeah.
But yeah, IB looks pretty cool, man. What's even cooler is the update we got from Mario Strikers Battle League.
Absolutely.
With what I wanted from day one, you can go back, you can hear me say it, give me Diddy, and now I got my Diddy. And Mario has easily been swept away as my old main. Diddy now reigns. I mean, this is no question. Now,
Friendship
we got
with
Pauline
Mario
too.
ended. Diddy is my new best friend.
It has to happen. If Diddy's in a sports game, it's got to happen. Bottom line.
One day they'll grow a pair and put Boo in the game.
I know, man, that with no feet. But Diddy does have feet, and I
a tail.
have gotten.
I mean, just look at this screenshot, man. He's eating the ball with his tail. That's awesome.
Absolutely, and of course we got Pauline as well.
Yeah,
I hate
and
to pop
we
off
love Pauline too.
Definitely,
She's probably my second favorite character on Super Rush.
Best mare we could ask for.
Absolutely.
Now, Diddy, on the other hand, has got me back on the game. I started playing again. I'm obviously had to purchase all of his gear. It's funny, I did it with Mario, and now I'm just doing it with Diddy. I'm just purchasing every piece of gear to have every option.
Has to be done.
And we have to get back on because I got a nice little loadout with Diddy that I am pretty fond of.
Definitely.
So we'll have to jump into that. But yeah, that update is live. Included with that, we also got, they talked about a whole new stadium, just some new stuff with the game. I mean, look, keep these updates coming for Strikers. I know the game is not old, but they really have pumped out a decent amount of content in the time it's been out. So I'm looking forward to anything else they come out with this. Now, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We've been known to expect the waves.
Yep, and there's still so much more.
Yeah, a whole other year after this of waves. So they kind of gave us a bit of a sneak peek here with 2 courses.
Just a little tease, 2 of the 8 courses.
But one of them really caught my attention, and I know you know that.
Of course.
The first one was Merry Mountain from Tour. Which, not familiar.
Yeah, that's the screenshot that I have on here, and that course looks gorgeous.
Oh, definitely. This looks like it's like the Mario Christmas Dreamland course.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you would want if you had a Mario Christmas theme.
Yeah, and the fact that this is coming out holiday makes a lot of sense.
Definitely. These are dropping holiday, by the way. It's a great way to include that. The other track, Peach Gardens from Mario Kart DS.
Yeah, and this is one that I know you are very familiar with.
Very familiar, yes. I remember they had all the challenges on Mario Kart DS, and they had some of them were in Peach Gardens, and just doing time trials. You do time trials on some of these courses enough, they just become a part of you. Mm-hmm. So when you think Peach Gardens, I remember every drift, every turn. It's something that just never goes away.
Absolutely.
Anyway, these DS courses, love to see them. Whatever other 2 they pick, probably going to be throwback courses, probably going to be awesome as well. I mean, they've chosen very well so far, and they have a lot to pick.
Yep, and they've been coming out with 2 Grand Prix at a time, so we should see 6 more courses with this batch, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep. These are probably one from each cup.
Probably so,
yeah. We're getting 2 cups at a time. The next thing we're going to talk about on here, Tyler, is something we have anticipated so highly on a game that I play almost daily at this point. Mm-hmm. And has become one of my favorite Switch titles. This Nintendo Switch Sports. We're finally going to be getting golf, Tyler.
Yep. Now, disappointingly, of course, they said please wait a little longer for holiday rather than fall.
Yes.
For this update.
We've been talking November, not now. personally, I'm having a good time bowling still. Look, take y'all's time, make the golf perfect. Maybe throw out a play test. Let us play test it ahead of time like y'all did with the sports originally. I think they had the 3 sports they tested. That'd be pretty cool to test out the golf, you know. But as long as they need to take to get it straight and get it perfect, man, I'm ready to start golfing on there.
Yeah, me too.
And speaking of golf, since we're not doing news, the monthly Super Rush outfit is the original Yoshis.
That we both missed.
Red, blue, and yellow. So guess what? We got our Yoshis.
Yeah, that's going to have to happen.
Questioning if we're going to circle back and have old options back.
I hope not, but I hope you can get access to the Boo, but I don't want to go just repeat everything. I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully they maybe change it up. Maybe do a throwback that you missed here and there and keep new ones coming also. But, dude, I got to tell you, as far as updates go, this is like a whole new game announcement for me. Not announcement, but the hype of a release. This is just an update adding golf, but I feel like this is very big for us.
Definitely. Interesting to see that they had 21 holes. I thought that was an odd number of holes, but maybe it's because they go in 3-hole segments.
Yeah, that is an interesting number. Either way, I'm dying to play this. I mean, this is going to be great.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be golfing with my me. It's going to be a paradise, basically.
They trolled us a little bit, Starling.
With the next one, a little bit. I got to tell you,
I was so excited when I saw Miyamoto walk out.
They know what they're doing, Tyler. They do.
They know what they're doing, man. They had him out and they said we're going to talk about Mario news, and of course, the exclamation point is going above my head, like. What are you talking about here? But of course, it was just an update on the movie and on what was it? It's called Super Nintendo World, right? At Universal Studios.
The theme park. Yep.
Yeah. So
Super Nintendo World. It's going to be at Universal Studios now here in the West, not just in Japan.
Yep. So that's pretty exciting.
But he did go that direction of talking about the movie, and we were like, because we had a recent direct where that was a big thing in the direct, you know. But he goes a totally different direction, Tyler, and I think the direction he went in is something that pleases us highly. And that was in the direction of Pikmin 4.
Yep, they teased us a little more by having him talk for 5 minutes about Pikmin Bloom. And then at the very, very tail end, they just show us a little just taste and just said Pikmin taste. 4.
And this is an announcement that's been speculated many directs prior. I mean, Pikmin 4 has been being spoken of since the Switch's inception.
Of course. We wet our whistle with Pikmin 3 Deluxe, obviously.
Definitely. That was a birthday gift, I believe, from you. I still have that installed on my Switch and very at home. But Pikmin 4, man, I mean, this is one of those definite pickups. They really didn't give us too much, but they did show the perspective you can play from kind of the behind the backs of the Pikmin. It looks really dynamic, man.
Yeah,
I think
really
the
interesting.
graphics are going to be like Luigi's Mansion 3 blow you away, you know. So it's looking very nice, Tyler. I got to tell you that from not seeing much, I think they're going to put their heart and soul in the Pikmin 4.
I hope so, but I love Pikmin. You know, we both do. I think it's
near and dear. Totally, man. Miyamoto also had a sick Pikmin shirt on. I wanted to mention that. He kind of plugged it. I guess you can go buy it. I'll buy the fucking shirt, Miyamoto. You got it. But Harvestella, we've spoken about this game, but we got much more than a glimpse at it. We got a demo with this direct.
Yeah, have you had a chance to play it yet?
Yes, I actually dove into it for a bit.
What did you think?
I thought it was definitely perfect for a demo to kind of trap you the way it did and kind of force you on a path. Because you were probably like me. You probably started trying to explore around.
I haven't played the demo yet, full disclosure.
Oh. No, well, I just thought the game was intriguing. Obviously, it pulls you in. The story seems interesting. There's something dark coming, and we know what the gameplay mechanics are going to be, but seeing how they tie into the story is kind of seems like the charm of it.
So here's a question. Is this a immediate purchase for you?
I'm leaning more towards yes, but I'll have to play the demo more. Now, there's just been a lot of announcements recently, so we're obviously gonna have to go to the battle room soon and decide what we're gonna be getting. I mean, this is a lot.
Yeah, I just put the pre-order in on Tactics Ogre, and Pokemon also comes out in November.
Yes, it does.
So how many of these can you get, right? Like
Harvestella might have to wait.
that might be another Christmas one though. Maybe I'll just ask for all RPGs for Christmas.
Yep. It's not quite triangle strategy level, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not.
And there's also Deofield
level.
Chronicle, which is coming out very soon.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think between triangle strategy and tactics, we might be good on those for a bit. We can catch Deofield later.
Maybe.
We can catch it on the flip side, you know what I mean?
We'll have to see. I was really excited when we got the announcement for it, so.
I still got to get the demo. I mean, I have the demo. I have to launch the demo, is what I mean.
But Harvestella, this game looks awesome. I feel like it's going to take a lot of time, like a lot of time investment to progress. Obviously, farming, life sim game, like that's what you expect. So that's one of my hesitations about buying the game straight away. But it definitely has my attention for sure.
Definitely, man. It's definitely got some intrigue to it. It's got some gameplay that we're pretty cozy with. And I could see us picking it up in the future and loving it.
Yeah, certainly they showed that kind of turn-based, battling, like big epic scale battles a little bit more in this trailer. And that pushed me a little more towards getting the game, of course.
Yeah, definitely, man. New Bayonetta news.
Yeah.
Now, pre-orders are available for Bayonetta 3. I think they already announced that it was going to be the 28th of October this year. But they also announced that after the Direct, there'd be a new gameplay trailer that would launch. I didn't catch it personally.
No, I haven't caught it either.
But my interest isn't over the top for Bayonetta 3 either. I feel like I'm going to have to go back and play the older games to catch up to that. I can see myself doing that. I love Devil May Cry and games that play like that. So it's definitely something I can see myself catching up to at some point.
For sure.
But haven't really gotten much time in with those, man. I got to say, I played a demo here and there.
I love Bayonetta on Smash.
Oh, definitely. This next one's Sifu.
Man, that game definitely caught my attention. I think I skipped over it in the, or maybe I went out of order on the presentation.
Oh, no. We were going to talk about the Resident Evil.
That's right. Maybe Sifu's after that.
It is. Okay, Sifu is after that. My apologies on that.
Resident Evil Cloud Edition for Biohazard 2 and 3 and Village.
And first they just said Village. Mm-hmm. So that's what I found interesting. I was like, holy shit, they're putting Village in. Now, of course, there's that one word, Tyler. Cloud. Thumbs down. It's... You know, we were just talking last episode about how this hadn't happened. And then they announced this... And it still hasn't happened, Tyler. I mean, let's just fucking cut straight to the chase. It's like this isn't even happening.
No, I have no interest in any of this. Luckily, I own 2 and 3 remakes already on Steam. I found out actually after we talked about it last episode, I had already purchased 3, so I didn't need to buy it on sale.
Oh, good.
But yeah, not interested in this in any way, shape, or form.
Just that one word, dude. Cloud. All of them have it. If you see that little silver strip on the image, all say cloud.
Yeah, we don't
It
even
is
need to. We don't
disappointing.
even need to spend too much time on this.
Nope. Like I said, it's not. It's like it's not happening. It's very unfortunate. So anyway, Sifu. I got ahead of myself earlier.
Oh, you're good, man. This game
But-
actually does seem pretty cool.
This does seem pretty cool, and it's funny because this almost seems like an older game. This is another one of those kind of throwbacky games,
Totally.
heavily focused on the combat. I love that. I think I
it's a
mentioned
beat 'em
to you,
up.
it reminds me a little bit of Bushido Blade, kind of like that zoned combat.
Yeah,
where you're
but
kinda,
I thought it was interesting. They say when you die, you age, and then eventually you will just die permanently. Like, and you have to.
you age and become weaker, like physically weaker.
But you also
really,
learn more abilities, and that's interesting.
I wonder what like the meta level. I mean,
You have
meta
to,
age
yeah.
is. You know,
it's going to be a
it's
sweet
like,
spot.
It's gonna be like 57. You know, that's gonna be like prime. You know a lot, but you're not broken yet.
Yeah. So we don't have to spend too long on this one either, but just for that particular mechanic, this definitely was interesting to me.
Definitely, man. This one definitely looks interesting. At first, I was almost wondering if it was maybe a remaster of an older game, but it just gives off the vibe of an older game, I guess.
Totally.
Which there's nothing wrong with at all. But Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I thought this was interesting, Tyler, and I knew you'd keep this on. Because we haven't really seen any of these new Final Fantasy VII games on the Switch, have we?
No, but this looks like it's in the style of the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, where is that on the Switch, or unless I
Maybe it
am under
is.
a rock?
I don't think so though, but it might be.
I don't think so either, but that's what made this of note to me. This is coming out December 13th.
I don't have any interest in buying this game, by the way, but the graphics look gorgeous. You always love to see Final Fantasy characters that you know and love rendered in this high detail. I think that was almost my main reason for wanting to keep this.
Anytime Sephiroth's involved, you know that. But yeah, if it's not already on there, this also gives hope that we might see 7 come to Switch. I mean, if it performed well enough, I mean, I'd love to have it on there. But the Steam Deck, that's like, we should make a T-shirt that says, but the Steam Deck. Yeah. That's going to be said many times.
For me, you know how I feel about this battle system, so this is never going to be a pickup for me.
Yeah, I understand, man. I'm wondering how you feel about the genre of this next game, Radiant Silvergun. How do you feel about these?
I love the shoot 'em ups, man.
games?
I love these types of games. I kept this in because I actually could see myself purchasing this because I love this genre, and this game looks like a hoot and a holler. I think the screenshot I have here is actually from the old version, and this is kind of a remake. So it looks a little more polished than this, but that's the general
looks
gameplay.
Nice, though.
Is a shoot 'em up. So
both look very nice. I'm a big fan of shoot 'em ups as well.
Yeah, you see stuff like Black and White. That's kind of like the original, goat of the franchise, and this is going to be in that same boat.
Yeah, I find myself gravitating more to the side scroller ones, kind of like Gradius and Life Force.
For sure.
But this looks cool, man. I mean, for a reasonable price, this is something I definitely love to own on the Switch.
Yeah, if I see this on sale for cheap, I think it's going to be something that you can only be better for having.
Definitely. The next thing, you included this on here, and I was surprised by that as well, Tyler. What was that, Tales of Symphonia?
Yeah, the Tales of Symphonia remake. I couldn't remember if I had kept this one or dropped it, but I think I kept it in just because it is a noteworthy title. I remember hearing this name thrown around, so be interested to see how this does, and maybe if they have a demo, it could be kind of some good JRPG stuff. I know that this is a beloved franchise.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't actually ever dove in. I think they had some games on the 3DS, if I'm not mistaken. But definitely made note that I like the graphics. I think it also has to do with that kind of 3D-ish polish.
Absolutely.
Or DS kind of quality to it. So definitely cool to see that, man. Early 2023, like a lot of these on here.
They gave us 2 big boys right at the end, Sterling.
Oh, did they? And that's the reason I wore my Kirby shirt today. Shout out to Kirby because we got Return to Dreamland Deluxe.
Yep. I'm going to ask you, Sterling, is this a pickup for you? It's a remake of a Wii game or a deluxe, version of a Wii game.
This is a 110% pickup from me.
I think I'm in the same boat.
I'm going to have to tell you. I mean, I wore the Kirby shirt because of this. I'm going to be getting this. And you put it in perspective so well. Some of my favorite games on the Switch are deluxe versions of things. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Tropical Freeze,
3D World.
3D World, dude. These are the best titles on the system, some amongst the best, and they really are
Pikmin
ports from
3.
other systems. Yep. So this is right at home. Especially, it's a Kirby Wii game I've never played.
Yep. I think that's notable on its own, just being a main series title that I've also not played.
And this is kind of what I said I would have liked to have gotten if we didn't get what we got with Forgotten Land.
That was that was standalone though. That was its own accomplishment.
This is alongside. It's like, with your Odyssey, you got your New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. It's like now you got your Forgotten Land in this. Mm-hmm. It's like perfect balance. I'll be picking this up day one.
It's interesting because the screenshots remind me of Star Allies, but that wasn't a game that I had too much interest in after playing the demo. But I think this is going to be better.
No, this is much more in line with your traditional Kirby experience, and that's the charm it has to me. Mm-hmm. I love the graphics. I can see that it's more on course with the traditional Kirby experience. And to me, that's what it's all about, man. If it feels like you're playing Kirby's Adventure or Crystal Shards, it just feels right.
No question.
That's the formula, dude. I mean, it's just never going to get old to me.
They saved the biggest one for last.
Yes. Return to Dreamland. The date on that, February 24th, 2023.
Right around the corner once again. I think, is that the same day as Octopath? So it's around the same time.
Perhaps, but if it is, they're both being purchased.
That's a big day.
I can't do anything about it.
Yep.
But yeah, the crown jewel of the Direct, Tyler.
And what everybody was here for, honestly.
Yeah, and I understand that. Of course, Octopath Traveler 2 and GoldenEye would like to have a word. Yeah, and Kirby would like to have a word. But at the same time, let's just get down to it. Above all else, we got a title for the new Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. It's not just Breath of the Wild 2. We've been calling it that for a long time.
We have, yeah.
It is called The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. What a sick title.
Yep.
Given the promotional content that we've been given.
Which wasn't much, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot of Link doing aerial shit here.
Which he already adds a whole new element to this.
Maybe they're taking a page from Skyward Sword or something. But at the same time, I'm talking about the promotional material we got originally, the launch trailer. Just the cool, dark nature of it, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm sure it's going to be a very tragic game. Breath of the Wild was very grown up. I'm sure this is going to be even more grown up. Mm-hmm. This is your grandpappy's Zelda game on Switch. This is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I think I'm excited, man.
Oh, definitely. This is one of those. It's not a question, are you getting a new Zelda? This is a sequel to Breath of the Wild. I mean, the Switch's legacy. There's no question in getting this. If you own a Switch, you need this.
Absolutely. This is a locked-in one for sure.
But what a direct, Tyler.
Man. And I think it was May 23rd, 2023 on this one.
Yep, the solid release date.
Which, that was exciting in and of itself.
Actually, May 12th.
May 12th, sorry.
Yep,
but that was exciting in and of itself just to have any date associated with it so we know what to expect. And it doesn't honestly feel that far off to me. That was kind of what I referenced early in the podcast. Like, May for this doesn't feel that long of a wait to me.
No, I mean, I know we've waited for a while, but we still haven't heard anything on Metroid Prime 4.
We still haven't. That's the glaring absence of major titles that have been announced, but we just have not heard anything about for a while. I have a feeling that they're working on it and they're going to come out with information, and then the game will be released not long after. That's what I'm hoping.
The release date's probably going to be their drop the mic direct move
Ending,
on whatever.
Yeah,
on
the end of a direct.
It's going to end the direct, no question.
But overall, man, lots of awesome stuff here. We talked about everything that we wanted, really. I mean, this is what you want out of a direct.
Yeah, and we did pretty good coverage as far as even going outside the comfort zone and talking about things I wasn't even prepared to talk about, really, you know. But it's cool to talk about a variety of things. We got a lot of shit catered to us, but a lot of things across the board catered to everybody, really.
And of course, we love the RPG heavy slant that this direct had.
Oh, definitely. Octopath 2 just got announced, man. I mean, that's a pop-off.
That's a Star Road
pop-off. Octopath 2 and a Kirby remaster. I mean, that's, you know. And then GoldenEye. But not just GoldenEye, but both Pokemon Stadiums. This direct was a hit.
It was a hit.
An absolute hit. That's the reason we made a full episode out of it. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yep.
Honestly, bro.
But we do have a 3-shop. We do want to get some deals out here before we go.
We got to make good on the 3-shop. We can't leave people empty-handed. Now, this is a very Switch-centric one in honor of the direct. The first one is a double up, though. We have a Switch and Steam sale. That's TMNT Shredder's Revenge. I've been really interested in getting this. This sale kind of perks the interest up a bit. On Switch, $24.99 to $19.99, 20% off until October 2nd. And same deal on Steam, just until the 29th of this month. Just looks like a polished Turtles in Time. Everything you could possibly ask for in a newer TMNT beat 'em up, man.
Yeah, you love to see this.
For $20, I mean, that's a very attractive price tag. So I'll probably be picking it up soon. I keep saying it's going to be my next pickup, and it's just, I got Gloomwood, not that.
$20, man, especially a Steam Deck, you know.
Yeah, I still got to get Cursed to Golf, man. We still got to pick that up.
Oh, yeah. There's too many games to play, man, and we can't play anything but Triangle Strategy.
That's both our problem. Next episode, we'll get to air that out completely.
Yeah.
Slay the Spire. Got to do it for my boy T. Normally $24.99 down to $9.99. 60% off September 29th.
Look, guys, if you don't own this game by now, this is the time. We say that every time this goes on sale, but I mean, come on.
$9.99, Tyler.
$10. You cannot beat that.
If you don't have the Steam Deck and you don't have it on Steam, either get it on Steam or get it on Switch right now. This inclusion is the type that warms my heart and makes me feel good about a 3-shop. Collection of Saga, Final Fantasy Legend. Normally $19.99 down to $13.99, 30% off until the 29th. This is the collection of all collections on the Switch that intrigues me the most, because these 3 games I consider to be very obscure. When I was around 17, 18, I got really into my Game Boy roots and really dug deep. And some of what I uncovered was the Final Fantasy Legend games. Mm-hmm. These games are much more different than any RPG you've ever played. Some of the mechanics were so different. I mean, I think Legend 3 is the closest you're going to get to your traditional Final Fantasy type experience. But these were really Saga games that were released in the US as Final Fantasy. But at the same time, there's so much charm to them. I love these games. These 3 on the Switch, $13.99, fantastic. I mean, I might actually pick this up myself, even though I have all 3 cartridges. Could easily play them in a modded DMG, comfortably, visually beautiful. Still tempting. to get it on the Switch and have these 3-in-1 collection. It's cool that someone like you can have access to these games. Because like I said, I would consider them quite bizarre compared to your normal RPG. You know, there's meat on the ground. Do you eat it? Yes or no? If you do, you might turn into a mutant.
Right on. Sounds
or
pretty
you might
interesting.
turn into a zombie or a werewolf. You know what I'm saying? There's so much RNG to it that it's almost chaotic. So yeah, that's just banger to close out the 3 shop and to close out the direct episode, man. I mean, it's not every day we get a direct that's worthy of completely overtaking the program, Tyler, but this one was it.
Yep. I mean, I can't say anything else. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, man. This was a major one.
GoldenEye coming to the Switch. I mean, there's so many things to talk about, man. Diddy on Strikers. I mean, life is good.
Life is good, man. I think that's the best note to close out on.
Yep.
Well, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or feedback, you can reach out to us at starroadpodcast@gmail.com. We upload every episode on YouTube, so feel free to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, share to your friends, post about it on Twitter, and feel free to let us know if you ever have any ideas for topics, questions, anything like that. Always happy to engage. So, yeah, I think that's going to take us to the end, Sterling.
It certainly is, man. I've been highly anticipating covering this direct with you, and I'm just excited for the games we got on hand.
Absolutely.
Man. We got a lot of shit coming, and we did tease next time we're going to be doing some triangle strategy talks. I'm at the end of the game. As much as I've been playing it, the momentum hasn't stopped, so I'll be done in the next day or two. So we're going to have a special little discussion.
Almost like a post-game review, kind of, now that we've gone through the whole game.
Yeah, I thought of it as like a triangle strategy revisited type of thing. So I'm looking forward to that, man. Anytime we get to talk about games we love, I mean, that's the highlights of the podcast, But it's been great today. It's great always, Tyler.
Yeah, man.
This is the Star Road Podcast signing out. Peace, everybody.
Deuces.